Hi, this is David with entry number 624 here around this area again, kind of like on the way back to um, well, an area called Hopjung. Kind of had a lot of thoughts today, but instead I'll choose to speak about something else, and that is this kind of idea of it, of like, I guess where I am kind of with my faith stuff. I know it's been a little while since I talked about that. And, like, this might get into more philosophy than theology, but maybe this is where the two meet. I think for me, where I am at this point is that I'm choosing to kind of believe in kind of the good points and the kind of allegories and parables that you can find within sort of the Bible, and choosing to ignore and disregard kind of the more bigger points, or maybe smaller points if you think about it another way, which are like the evidence or maybe ideas that Jesus was alive or was a real person performing miracles. Because for me personally, sorry about this, I was getting really hung up on kind of focusing and getting a little bit myopic on whether or not kind of Jesus was real, and it was really hindering my ability to kind of believe in his life and lessons through his life. And so when I was like that, I suppose, it really prevented me from kind of thinking about kind of getting towards more of the core principles of what it teaches in the Bible. And to people who might say that this is like a bad thing, that kind of the foundational aspects of Christianity are based around the fact that Jesus was real and not a myth or whatever, I don't really think that that's really an important thing, to be honest. I strongly believe that other people's faith, other people's belief that Jesus Christ or Joseph Smith was a real person is enough to sustain that kind of idea, that you don't need personal belief in these people because you have the kind of community belief of their existence, and that kind of supersedes what any one individual chooses to believe or not. And I know that might be kind of a hard pill to swallow depending on where you come from religiously, but I really feel like that's a true statement. And you can kind of see it in other facets of life, and I think a big part of it is kind of like an allegory, I suppose, to real life, is the fact that, take language for example. The official language of kind of the United States is English. So everyone should speak English. Everyone, primarily, if you're talking about majorities, does speak English. But there are many people who choose not to speak it, even though the official language is in fact English. And they make a conscious kind of choice. Sorry about this, next to a nut guy. They make a conscious choice to not speak English. But the official language remains to be English, and the majority of people do in fact still speak English. So you have people who are conscientiously rejecting something that is widely held without breaking down that system that's in place. I think you could really apply it to marriage in terms of kind of the idea of marriage, or kind of the concept of it. and like a few other things, I mean many other things in life where you have any kind of idea of a majority and a minority, because that minority is always allowed to kind of speak or live however they want, regardless of what reality dictates, you know, because that majority supports the general idea of something. So you might have kind of theological or sorry, I can't pronounce that word completely, so I'm not going to try again. Well, I'll try it one more time. Epistemology is the word. Epistemological ideas, which is kind of like foundation of knowledge, and kind of theological ideas. So, regardless of how the minority feels, if the majority of people, or the majority of minds believe in a certain way, then it kind of makes it a reality. And that's kind of, you can do that with any language, really. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, any kind of, even ideas like color are only seen as color because we choose to see them as a group and call it a certain color. You can see, blue, but, some people don't see it as blue, like colorblind people, but it doesn't matter if they don't see it as blue because the majority of people see it as blue. So that's kind of where I'm at with kind of religion, in the sense that regardless of whether or not Jesus Christ was real and performed miracles like reviving the dead, walking on water, and these kinds of things, it doesn't really matter to me because, in fact, at the end of the day, his life wasn't about whether or not he was real. Christianity isn't whether or not he was real. It's following his practices, following his lifestyle. And I think really at the core of it, that's what he was preaching. It wasn't whether or not he was a real man. It was making sure that people knew that, living a certain way, living by a certain doctrine, gave you benefits and benefited the world. And I think that's really at the core of it, what's important, personal. Other people might have their own opinions, and that's fine, but for me personally, at this point in time, that's what I feel like is true. But anyway, that's where I'm at. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days. Bye.